Hello there. Welcome everybody to the Grandpa Deckard Show. I am continuing my series called Faith Adventures, and this is number 8, and I'm calling this one a moving experience. And it's all about getting God's direction. A moving experience. In October 1985, we had our 5-year-old son and brand new baby girl. I was pastoring our house church, but I felt that God was moving us to move to Israel. What? That's what I thought. Why? When? How? Well, this was only going to happen with a miracle. You've heard of the church mice. Well, we were them. So I shared this thought with Jean, and she was not enthused. Nobody was, for that matter. Yet the moving of God held strong in my heart. He had given me a special love for Israel, and it only got stronger with time. We prayed together that if this was truly a God thing, that He would place in our hearts the answer to when. Well, a few weeks later, we got together again and shared our answers. The date I got was early in June of 1986. Jean gave a date that she got from the Lord that was 2 weeks later than that. But I'm thinking, well, now, God is not the author of confusion, right? But then another thought popped into my head. This is wisdom. You go first and find a place to live. Then the wife and kids will come and lay their jet-lagged heads on their very own pillows. But how? How's this going to happen? This is going to take a lot of money. And as you know, money doesn't grow on trees. So should we raise the money from sympathetic supporters? No, we decided that if this were of God, then He'd just have to work out the pesky little details like money. Well, by faith, we stepped out and we got passports, we bought suitcases, we gave away things, we sold things, all this by faith. And then one day in January of 1986, the phone rang. It was Jean's dad. He says, I don't want you to go to Israel, but I'm going to support you for 1 year. We'll call it a sabbatical. Since you've been pastoring for 7 years, we'll call this a sabbatical. And so this was our answer from God. That is, how would God do this? Well, how is that He would change Dr. Fisher's heart. We bought one-way tickets, not wanting to limit God's plans for us. We didn't tell Jean's dad that we got one-way tickets, but we did. And after, fast forwarding a little bit, after a tearful goodbye to our family and church family and friends, I flew out first, you recall. I flew out first on the biggest faith adventure of my life. When we landed near Tel Aviv, the passengers applauded. I didn't know you were supposed to do that, but that's what they did. They applauded. And my emotions sent tears streaming down my cheeks. Before getting a 3-month tourist visa stamped in my passport, I was asked where I was going to stay in Israel. Strangely, I haven't given that much thought. But I said the YMCA in Jerusalem, and that was what came out of my mouth. So it was settled. Well, I was fast forwarding it again when my taxi driver drove up in front of the YMCA in Jerusalem. I was blown away by the sight of it. It looked more like a palace than a YMCA. And I thought, how could I ever afford this? Well, how could I ever afford anything? So after 2 nights, though, in the YMCA, I got acquainted with some people over at Narkey Street Baptist Church in Jerusalem, and they offered a room in their basement downstairs with a bed and desk and stuff to stay free of charge. Well, I could afford that, to stay free of charge while I was looking for an apartment for the family. Well, when I got there, the next day I went out looking for an apartment. I had to resist the urge to do a little sightseeing, and I just jumped right in, both feet, to finding a place to live. And we soon, by the way, found our church home at the YMCA where I was staying those first 2 nights. There was a church meeting there called the Jerusalem Christian Assembly. They're now referred to as King of Kings. But yeah, we found our church home there and met in the auditorium of the YMCA. I'm going to include a picture of that here just in a moment at the end of this. And so 2 weeks later, yeah, okay, here's the thing. 2 weeks different in those dates that God had given us. And exactly 2 weeks after I arrived, after 2 weeks, I found a place, secured a place. We had furniture, we had beds, and pillows for my family to lay their weary heads on. And so the very next day, God's timing is perfect. And you've heard that God is good. Well, I'd like to add to that God is more than good. Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths." Now, in case you didn't catch it the first time, I'm going to sing it for you. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. He shall direct your paths. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. May God bless you richly.